What's going on? It's Chris and Emily from LifterLMS, and you know what day it is? It's Feature Friday, now on Tuesday. Today we're going to go over a special part of LifterLMS that is all about protecting the privacy of your students, the users on your website. We're going to show you how to use the LifterLMS privacy policy and set that up so that people see it when they're enrolling in a course or have an option to go check it out, as well as your terms and conditions. But we're also going to show you the data erasure request features of LifterLMS, which is really cool. This came around about 5 years ago or longer when the GDPR, which is like a data privacy act, really took off in the United States, in Europe, and around the world. So software needed to update to make it easier for people to really own their data, so that if they reach out to you as an LMS website owner and ask to have their data removed from your website, you can do that with a couple of clicks in LifterLMS. And we've got some neat features and options that go with that, so that you can remove them, protect their privacy, give them their digital freedom, but also anonymize their data so that, you know, sort of the order history and the reporting aspect of the LMS still contains some anonymous data that can't be tied to any user, but that way the amount of sales, enrollments, and things like that are still accurate on your LMS website, while the user was able to have themselves completely removed from the website. Emily's going to give us a tour of this feature of LifterLMS. Enjoy.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Let me pull up my screen here. And like Chris said, we're going to talk about the settings that LifterLMS offers for privacy, as well as how you can remove a user's data if they request it. There are regions where removing data erasure or having data erased is a right by people who are signed up to your website, or it's just a courtesy to offer. Like at LifterLMS, if you ask to cancel your data, it's very easy for us to do so. But it's also easy for you to do so on your LifterLMS website for your students. So the first area we're going to look at is under LifterLMS settings accounts. And if we scroll to the bottom, we have user information and privacy options. This is where we're going to look at our terms and conditions and our privacy policy. We highly recommend having this on any website that collects any information, but especially an LMS website which collects a lot of information. Terms and conditions is optional, but we can check this box and select a page. I already have a terms page created on my demo site, but you would simply go to Pages, Add New in WordPress, call a page Terms and Conditions, and outline what your terms and conditions are. Having a legal representative consult with you about how to put together the terms for your business specifically is always the best thing to do, but there's also services like Termageddon, which is on the LifterLMS recommended resources page, I think, where you can pay like $12 a month or something like that to have terms and privacy automatically generated for you. So there are services out there for terms and privacy, but we do recommend having them. And this is how you would select your privacy page and your terms page with Lifter. You can also customize the text that says, I read and agree to the terms. This will be at checkout. It'll say, I read and agree to the terms of use. And then privacy policy is very similar. This is just where we designate our privacy page and then show users when they create an account where they can access that privacy link. A lot of websites also have this information in the footer, so you could do that, add it to the footer for terms and privacy. But then within the privacy policy, if we view this page, you can designate how data is handled at the business and that people do have the right to submit a data erasure request. Somewhere in here where we send your data, we could say, maybe we use ActiveCampaign for a CRM and we use Hostinger for website hosting or something like that. So we would say, hey, this is our website host. This is where your data is stored. This is our CRM. This is where your data is stored. Email us here if you want to have your data erased. That could all be in your privacy policy. But specifically, when it comes to deleting account data, account erasure request, we have an option to remove order data. When someone's account gets deleted, we can remove or erased. We can enable that the order be anonymized during the personal data erasure. So I'll check that box. And then I'll also remove the LifterLMS student data so that in the reporting is no longer going to reflect that that student was taking specific courses. So I recommend having both of these boxes checked, but you can opt out of that if you want to. So let's imagine that Tyshawn is sent us a data erasure request. We can see that they have 17 courses and 1 membership. What we would do is we would take their email address from their user account. We would visit the section Tools, Erase Personal Data. This is a default WordPress feature, but LifterLMS adds something to this. So I'm going to paste in the email for the user I want to delete. We can send them a confirmation email if we want to, so that they can click, yes, I do want my data erased. But we know in this example that we're going to delete this test user's data. So once I click send request, we can see them on the list here, and it's up to them to complete the request in their email. We could also complete it for them by clicking the button here. But our next step is to erase personal data. So I'm going to click on erase personal data. It's going to take a second. It's going to go through all of their data around our WordPress website and erase it. You can see the percentage counting up there. 58, 60. We give it a second. It'll tell us everything that it deleted. There we go. So all personal data was found and erased. So we can see every item of information that was deleted. We can see we removed student billing address. We removed billing city. We removed all these things. Removed personal data from order 4460. So this is like what Chris mentioned, where the sales and reporting will all be accurate, but the data for this user was removed from the order. So if we look for 4460, here it says by anonymous because Tyshawn was deleted or erased. And so now we can see buyer name anonymous, buyer IP anonymous, but we'll still have the sales data and the date that it happened. That's just not data about the user specifically. The next step we would have to do is make sure we delete the user. We can see now that they have 0 courses, 0 memberships. We'll just simply delete this WordPress user, delete their content, and they are gone. All their data has been erased and their user account has been deleted. We do want to recommend that you go to your CRM tools or any other place that you had their data stored and remove their data as well. Because if you delete their data from WordPress or erase it, it won't remove them from ActiveCampaign. It won't remove them from MailChimp. It won't remove them from any other software you had their data in. So make sure to visit those places too and follow their data erasure protocols. But I'll pass it back to you, Chris. Is there anything else we should show on that?
I think that was a perfect demo, by the way. There's a lot going on there, and the tools have made it very easy to actually pull off the removal of that user and all of their data while not messing up your reporting. I do just want to mention that having a terms and conditions page and a privacy policy page is important for almost any website. I have heard that it does also impact your SEO. That's why it's good to have it linked in the footer of your website, because it's just a signal of authority and professionalism that actually helps you get found and rank higher and stuff like that. The Termageddon service is a good one. Just do a Google search for LifterLMS recommended resources, and they basically have a bunch of fancy features to create your page for you based on your state and so on, and actually keep it up to date over time. It's really cool feature if you don't want to do it yourself. And it's sort of a much cheaper way than hiring a personal lawyer to do it for you. And now for the curveball. You know, one of the reasons with a data erasure request, we have the option to send them a confirmation email, is we always want to think about, you know, identity theft or fraud or spam. So like, what are some ways you can think of that, like, hey, if so-and-so sends an email saying they want their personal data erased, what are some things you could do to make sure that this is actually that person?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We do have some information for the users in the backend of WordPress here. So if I look at Alberta, we could ask within our form that we use to, maybe we're using Ninja Forms, to have a personal data erasure submission with a form. We could ask them, in addition to their name and their email, we could ask them something like zip code. We could ask them something like maybe their order number. We could even ask them to potentially log into their account in order to submit the data erasure request. I probably would recommend having the option for people to submit that request not being logged in, because they might just be on your marketing email list. They might not have yet got an account on your website. But there's a few different ways you can go about it, and the way that you choose will depend on your business structure. So it might be having a membership protected page where you submit your data erasure request. It might be asking for some confirming information from them, like maybe what their address is or something like that. But we might not have collected the address completely yet, but we could also have like personal data erasure request for students and a data erasure request for people who are on our marketing list. And the marketing list would be available to the public. And the one for students would be inside of their student dashboard, inside of their members portal or their member dashboard. So that would be like my first go-to with that. I don't know.
Another one I'll add is the first thing I look for is that the person's name and email address are a match. So even if they have the same name, but it's from a different email than the user on the site, I'm always going to pause. I might be more likely to send the confirmation email for that to happen. But that's the main thing I think to look out for. And sometimes like fraudsters or spammers are kind of sneaky. They create like an email and they change like an L for a 1 or an O for a 0 in the email address. And it looks really close, but I've just trained myself over more than a decade in online business to really triple check those kinds of things. And you can always have them do the confirmation step and that cleans all that up. So just throwing that out there as a pro tip when somebody's asking to be erased off your site.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this Feature Friday. Thanks for the awesome demo, Emily. Smash the like button, tell your friends, let us know what demo you would like for us to do next. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and rest of your week. Take care.